The tea makers, which have been surging since yesterday in anticipation of tea prices rising on the production shortfall, which will actually result in a supply shortage with regards to the current demand situation. Well, to discuss this in further detail, joining us on the phone line is Mr. D.P. Maheshwari, who is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Shree Tea. Mr. Maheshwari, good morning to you and thanks a lot for joining us.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us today on BloombergQuint. Well, we've seen a sudden surge in all the stock prices of the tea companies. We also spoke to the management of McLeod yesterday, which clearly suggested that the prices are inching higher by almost 15 to 20 rupees per kg. And for them, the average price now stands at about 190 rupees per kg. If you could tell us what's been the increase for a company like yours and what's the average selling price currently?
Well, I will tell you first the general scenario. As I had been telling in my various interviews yesterday, you see, there is a shortage of tea, especially after September. Till September, August ending, we were ahead by 33 million kilograms. In September alone, a record shortfall of 44 million took place, and we are behind by 11 million. Now, as per our estimates in October, November, further 14 million will go behind, so total of 25 million will be behind, all India. And 35 million is the additional demand required every year. So actually you will be behind by 60 million kilogram end of November. And that is the one push which is driving the prices. As regards, how much prices, depending on which quality bracket you fall in. Say my company, my prices for Assam are in the region of, let us say, 220 to 250, which is year on year quite ahead of last year. But let us talk about the general market. General market, we reckon is ahead by around 10 rupees a kilo, which has taken place in last 5 weeks. And going further, I expect this increase to continue. Maybe by January it should harden, and we should have a lead of around 20 rupees, 30 rupees. In some areas, even 50 rupees a kilo.
Mr. Maheshwari, if I compare the prices that are existing in India with some of the key global markets, how do they compare currently? What is the differential, if there is a substantial differential? And
well, if I tell you honestly, as on today even, we are not comparable to Kenya prices. Kenya prices are much ahead of us. And what I am telling you, the increase is year on year from our own prices. If you compare with Kenya prices, absolute prices are higher than ours. So that is that. But Kenya, there is a shortfall of around 50 million kilograms this year, and that's the reason that international prices are, there is a shortage and prices are driving up.
Okay, Mr. Maheshwari, so can you tell us again as to what is the shortage that India is expected to see in this financial year going forward, and what can that mean to prices in the second half this financial year?
See, India, as I told you, ending November, we will be short by around 25 million kilograms. That is the absolute production. But you see, demand, every year 35 million kilograms additional demand is created. Tea consumption is growing up. So that would mean that almost 60 million kilograms will be short. In the pipeline, there will be a shortage of around 60 million kilograms. And only 1 month, December, is left, which is a very low cropping month. And there might not be much effect. Even in December, we might lose some quantity because, winter is setting in. This year, Puja was early and so was Diwali. So normally in this year, production stops early. So I expect the 60 million shortage in the pipeline, and it's quite substantial.
Mr. Maheshwari, if you could tell us what's been the response in the recent auctions which have already happened, or any auctions which are coming about, and what kind of price trend are you expecting in the auctions to come by?
Ma'am, for last 5 auctions, prices are looking up. Even yesterday's auction, the market is strong. And again, you see, one is the general trend, which is applicable to all type of tea, and one is qualitative. Qualitative, there is a very good jump. And general tea is also around 10 rupees the market has come up in last 5 weeks. I expect another 10 to 15 rupees it will go up, and when the new season comes sometimes in February, March, we should be up by around 50 rupees a kilo.
Okay, so Mr. Maheshwari, what does this mean for your own financials, your company's financials when it comes to tea prices? What kind of a growth can we expect if you consider, the financial year going forward?
Sir, for my company as well as for almost all the gardens in Northeast India, production season is almost at the end. But we are still left with around 45% of our production which is yet to be sold. So that quantity will get this gain of whatever market growth is there. And financial, I can only tell you, I can't quantify exactly. What I can tell you is that, versus last year, it should be a very good year.
Mr. Maheshwari, do you also export tea?
Yes, we do, ma'am. Around 100 crore rupees worth of teas are exported by us.
Could you just give us a sense, what are the margins that you derive from the export market vis-a-vis the Indian market?
See, export is an entirely different market and internal is a different market. Export, we have to compete with number of countries. So it is not the margin, it is the quantum, how much quantity you can export. And this year, because of Kenya short in production, Indian exports are quite healthy. And of course, yes, margin also is there. But margin, I won't say...
Mr. Maheshwari, is it safe to assume that the margins from the export business are higher for you or for any tea company in India?
Yeah, naturally.
Could you just give us a sense in terms of basis point, how much would that be? 3%, 4%, how much?
Again, the thing is, you see, export tea and what I am selling domestically tea, there is a difference in quality. So, comparing apple to apple is not possible. And comparing apple to oranges is not good. But anyway, I can only tell you this much, that normally when we export tea, we export at least 5% additional revenue.
Okay, Mr. Maheshwari, any plans of expansion or addition in terms of capacity for production that you are envisaging in the near term?
Well, you see, we are on the lookout for acquiring some new gardens. But as the market scenario is, there are number of gardens on the sale, but depending on our convenience and our, what sort of return I can expect, we will see. But yes, we are looking for some sort of expansion.
And sir, speaking of your other businesses, what is any plans of spinning off your chemicals and fertilizers segment? Because if I remember correctly, at least a year ago, there were some plans on the anvil.
No, chemical fertilizer, standalone, they are doing all right. Even this year, we should have a decent return from them, and it's a small unit, quite old unit. So that we will not disturb it now. Sugar, as you know, for last 2 years is doing all right, but we are looking for a shooter in our sugar industry. If we get something and a deal is struck, we would like to get out of sugar. But for the year, sugar is doing all right.
Mr. Maheshwari, did you say that you're looking to exit from your sugar business?
Yes, ma'am. We are.
Are you already in talks with the management about it? By when can we see that development taking place?
The thing is, we have decided that we want to get out of sugar. Now, the market for sugar industry is good only for last 1.5 years. And normally, you can expect a shooter only after 2 good years, profit-making years goes for the industry. I expect after this season, maybe somebody will show interest in our unit.
All right, Mr. Maheshwari, thanks a lot for joining us and giving us the outlook on the tea industry, where the tea companies have been going up. In fact, the stock prices have been inching higher since yesterday.